We all need a little proper perspective in our lives. And today we have a very special episode of Keeping It Real with Real People as I welcome Lisa Dunlap with Nurse Your Soul. How do you say your company's name?
Nurse your soul. That's it.
I love it. It's one of my favorite things. It just really speaks to you right off the gate. Welcome to the Capital Life, Lisa. You are
Thank
coming to us from where? Where in the world do you live?
I am here in Wilmington, North Carolina. It's sort of a beach town on the East Coast, a smaller college beach town. And I'm originally from Seattle. So this is my husband's terrain over here.
Which is super cool. Guys, I have to tell you, Lisa is a powerhouse of a woman. She's a mother of two. She's got her background in herbology, energy work, and she was a frontline nurse practitioner. Not only that, she literally left her six-figure income so that she could start her company in March of 2020. And that is where Nurse Your Soul came from. Please tell us just a little bit about Nurse Your Soul.
This episode of The Capital Life is brought to you by the Bee Minds. Small business owners, are you ready to take your growth to the next level? Say hello to the Business Minds, the most powerful all-in-one growth platform for small businesses. With the Infinite Builder, you can streamline your business operations and boost conversation rates using integrated marketing automation tools that do the hefty lifting for you. Automate lead generation, manage sales processes, and optimize every element of your business, all in one easy-to-use platform. No more juggling multiple tools or wasting time on manual tasks. The Business Minds will help you focus on what really matters, growing your business and achieving your goals. Learn more and take control of your business growth today. The Bee Minds, because your business deserves infinite possibilities. Before we dive in, I want to pique your interest in becoming a Capital Health founder. But Abby, what is a Capital Health founder? Well, I'm so glad you asked. The Capital Health founder is just a fancy way of getting you mega discount options for the Capital Health app. Plus, you get a free Capital Founders t-shirt and access to the Focus program Stretch It Out. I know all of you have been anxiously anticipating the launch of the Capital Health app, and it is coming. My developers are working their fingers to the bone, coding everything from scratch. This app is something entirely new and has never been done before. Think of it like a trainer and nutritionist in your pocket, evaluating you where you are at and progressing with you as you evolve. Being a Capital Health founder will get you 3 months free off a 1-year subscription or 6 months free off a 2-year subscription. So hop over to capitalhealth.com, that's KAPITOL health.com, and take advantage of these exclusive deals. These deals will be gonzo when the app launches. So go and check it out. Please like, share, and rate us on whatever platform you're listening. It's how we start to really spread the message of good in the world that needs it so much right now. If you find this helpful or insightful, don't forget to connect with us on Facebook and YouTube at Capital Health. That's KAPITOL Health. Also, visit us at capitalhealth.com and subscribe to our newsletter and get wicked awesome updates.
Thank you for that intro coming from you, because I know you're a powerhouse too. And
You're so sweet.
It's funny because I thought you were going to say she's a surfer, and I don't know why, but the way your tone was, but then you went into all these other things. So,
but you are a surfer too, which is super cool.
Yeah, but I don't know why. That was just funny. So you said about Nurse Your Soul. Tell about that, how that was born.
A little bit about your company and what you like, where this transpired.
Yeah. So I am a coach for burnt out women, nurses, mamas, that just feel like they need to restore and revive, reignite their passion, reconnect to who they are, and build profitable online businesses so they can do that either part-time, full-time, side hustle, so they can really love their life again. And, my primary audience has been nurses, healthcare professionals, because I saw the need. Like much of us saw big needs and gaps and changes in March of 2020. I think that's when the pandemic happened. Was it 21? It's a little blurry now in our minds.
No,
But
it's
anyway,
2020. It's
okay.
yeah, no one can remember the last 3 years. It's okay.
Yeah. So, saw the need, but it takes one to know one. So, the story of my burnout, we'll share it a bit later, but basically just being a woman in healthcare, high achieving, a mom, trying to do it all, not feeling, seeing, or being honest about my signs of burnout, mental health breakdown, and going through that journey and then deciding like, you know what? Pivot. I'm not going down this path anymore because it's not healthy. And now I want to empower other women in my shoes to figure out what lights them up. And so I do one-on-one coaching, group coaching, workshops. I go into healthcare organizations and run burnout programs. I do public speaking, and it's all virtual, mostly virtual. It's been fantastic.
That's amazing. Well, I kind of want to roll back a little bit just to tell everyone how we actually met and got ourselves connected, because, people know that I get so consumed with doing work and creating things in the family and all this stuff that I end up not traveling a lot. And so we actually met at kind of a wealth conscious seminar about a month ago in Chicago. And it was like purely on a whim of just amazing, limitless women that just all of a sudden we've been influenced by this one person in particular named Shamina Taylor. And we all just kind of were like, yep, that's it. Let's go. We've got to roll on this. And we met each other there, ended up sitting at the same table, and even got to spend a little bit of time in the evening and get to know each other. But one of the things that impacted me the most from that seminar was how amazingly quick the women in that room could connect with one another.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have her thing here, the quantum woman. I forget what it is, but it's like,
Our manifesto.
Our manifesto. And yeah, as far as you and me, yeah, that room was just full of high energy people talking about things on a different plane. I remember you had like a hot pink blazer or something really.
Yeah, it was a purple plum blazer.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
I have to do the trademarking with
Okay.
my outfits now.
And then you took a picture of me and we're like, all right, let's see your empowered, sassy woman look. Because I asked you to take a picture. And that was how I remember connecting, because I was like kind of uncomfortable, right? In the light, right? Like uncomfortable, like being
exposure. You feel exposed, right? Mm-hmm. You definitely, there's this way. I mean, like, it's like we can go about our day being like these powerhouse women and taking care of the job and taking care of our kids and all these different things. But then when it comes down to it, it's like when we are asked to do something out of our comfort zone or out of our norm, that's really where the question is how do you show up? How are you presenting yourself? How are you doing that? And a lot of us don't even really do that. Like, I mean, most of my shots will be more goofy than like, like a sexy pose or something like that. I probably would look like, Dumb and Dumber faces. Yeah. My husband had to say, hey, like, because I'm more goofy.
Well, and like, look, right now people can't see us, but we're like moms and we're working from home. We're like casual. And here we are at this event where we were supposed to dress up and feel wealthy. And I'm not wearing clothes I normally wear. And so it was, my pleather Spanx, which were awesome. By the way.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. They were awesome.
Everyone should go out and grab some now.
Right.
So anyway, it was just really fun. And yeah, you and me connected like that. And that's what happens when we put ourselves in the rooms. And go hire the mentor that makes us feel like a version of ourselves that we're missing, right? And
doing something that like changes you, doing something that impacts you and gets you to like another level of a version of yourself that you've always wanted to be and go for, which I think is really important. Now, what got you to jump into the nursing field in the first place? I remember what attracted me to wanting to coach and lead and be passionate about just sports and performance and what goes in your body and all the combination of what creates the athlete and fitness and things of that nature. But then when I jumped into the industry, it changed. Like my viewpoint changed significantly. What was it that compelled you to jump into nursing in the first place? What was your passion?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. And I think it's very profound and important. I was 26, actually. So I didn't take the traditional nurse path at all. I was raised in Seattle. Without saying much more, I grew up with herbs, homeopathy, naturopaths in a stone's throw every which way, right? And so
Amazing.
alternative health was in my blood. I knew from a young age that I would be in medicine, back to when I was playing with toys, but basically, well, I still play with toys, let's be real, but I mean, little kid toys. But
I mean, you surf like almost every day.
yeah,
So
I got
mean,
surf
like,
toys,
yeah.
I got snowboard toys, I got tennis rackets. I love to play. But the thing is I knew before I became a nurse, I was going to be holistic and integrative. I just couldn't figure it out. And I actually tried to go to like the top naturopathic medicine school. And here's where rejection is redirection. And I walked in the doors and they basically said, is your family wealthy? We're talking the 90s.
Right.
And I said, no. And they said, we really don't recommend you come here because you'll be 200 grand in debt. And right now naturopaths make a teacher's salary. And I was like, jaw dropped to the floor. I had done all the prerequisites in college. So then I traveled after college and as an herbalist and into integrative healing and holistic medicine to heal myself, a lot of childhood wounds. I went to remote areas and was like literally doing ethnobotany internships, like passing out betel nut and cigarettes in exchange for stories in the Solomon Islands and like tromping around.
So cool.
And I realized like, okay, the world doesn't need more alternative medicine. Maybe America does. But I thought, if I go down the traditional medicine path, which wasn't really in my heart, I can integrate the two in America. Like I can be able to earn more trust in the person who's not into alternative health. And in the person who's into alternative health, I can also bring Western. So I got a second degree and did like an accelerated nursing program and already had the holistic trainings and things. And then it just took about 10 years before I actually integrated the two. I took time as a nurse to get experience and as a nurse practitioner. And, my heart has always been with people. And so I never did the traditional hospital path. I did the house calls, go to people's homes, talk story, long
right, the old medicine woman type like path.
Just
right.
Like
and the thing that a lot of people don't realize is it's kind of hard for people like us because we have to navigate through a world that's basically bit and chewed and swallowed all of what Western medicine has encompassed, right? And then you have your alternative medicine practitioners that have always been there. They're everywhere around you. It's just the question of if people actually look in that general direction. And they've been doing it classically for years, if not century upon century. But then it's like you get stuck in between this middle ground of like the hokey, weird, like witch doctor person versus the like, okay, like let's put a Band-Aid patch on everything and just cut you open, so there's this word space between the two. And then it's like, especially in our youth, and then doing the education and then being aware of what's happening. But it's really tricky on how we have to like kind of navigate, but then we know what aligns with us, but then at the same time, it's also building the courage to speak up and then find what directional path we really want to take when it comes to separating, fixing the separation between.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's exactly the gap that I wanted to fill. Exactly. Because I knew. And so that's what I mean. I was a little backwards. Like I kind of went into Western medicine with an ulterior motive. And that's okay. Like I still learned.
Right.
I helped people. I wasn't just there to get the degree. And there were things about nursing and being an NP that I loved. And here's in fact an interesting part. When I finally got my NP, which was always the dream. So 6 years, 7 years after the journey as a nurse. And along the way, I was integrating like clinical aromatherapy. You can touch a patient and do energy healing without saying, oh, I'm doing energy healing, right?
I do it all the time.
Right. You can integrate these things. And then you find when you speak up, there's other hidden nurses out there that were holistic. They just didn't want to speak up about it. And in fact, they wanted to throw me out of nursing school. And they said, you'd be the worst nurse ever when I said, let's teach our nurses energy healing and mindfulness. And they're like, you need to focus on your test scores and how to put in a Foley. And I was like, oh, wow.
Whoa,
a long way to go, people. So
yeah.
Anyway, but fast forward as an NP, and I've been an NP now for 9 years, and you can prescribe and diagnose. I thought the dream was an integrative health clinic, right? That seems like what you're talking about, where I was in a clinic with a naturopath next door to me, an acupuncturist, PT, massage. Sounds like a dream. But here's the thing, as the Western provider, it wasn't a dream for me. They worked me like a horse. Like I had the 15 minutes with a patient. It wasn't this like dreamy, I get an hour and then we walk over to acupuncture. It was like, I was the moneymaker, right? You got to bring in the money. And a lot of insurances don't pay for, we're kind of going down a rabbit hole here, but a lot of them pay for holistic therapies. So you have an integrative clinic and it's got doctors and NPs. Well, you guys are working like horses because that pays for the clinic. And so for me, it was a beautiful vision. And then I was there and I was miserable. I'm like, this isn't holistic. And that's funny about how what we think our dream is. And then you get there and you're like, oh, whoa, no. Like this isn't.
No. Yeah. It's like you get there. And then really the nice thing was that you were supposed to go that path to wake you up to the next. Right. So it's like, so much of me, it was like getting into just even the gym industry to begin with, and then kept seeing how it was so much of a Shark Tank and so much of a sales pitch and so much of selling trends that are bullshit. They're not doing what they need to do for the individual. They were missing customization. They were missing adaptability. And even though, there would be focus and tests of the advanced stuff, a lot of the, people that are being taught it don't understand it because they never had a full understanding of that. And it was very interesting just to see the dynamic of like the gym trying to make shifts and changes, but at the same time, they're only doing it to make the buck and instead of the individual, which drives me crazy. You had a really profound story that I really wanted to bring up because, it's like, okay, you leave your job of March of 2020. You go and you start like, okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to make a whole huge change, but that's not the only thing that happened to you. Like you ended up having some big medical issues that came up for you and then completely flipped your life around at the same time that you were making this big change. Can you share with us like what exactly happened?
Before we dive in, I want to pique your interest in becoming a Capital Health founder. But Abby, what is a Capital Health founder? Well, I'm so glad you asked. The Capital Health founder is just a fancy way of getting you mega discount options for the Capital Health app. Plus, you get a free Capital Founders t-shirt and access to the focus program Stretch It Out. I know all of you have been anxiously anticipating the launch of the Capital Health app, and it is coming. My developers are working their fingers to the bone, coding everything from scratch. This app is something entirely new and has never been done before. Think of it like a trainer and nutritionist in your pocket, evaluating you where you are at and progressing with you as you evolve. Being a Capital Health founder will get you 3 months free off a 1-year subscription or 6 months free off a 2-year subscription. So hop over to capitalhealth.com, that's KAPITOL health.com, and take advantage of these exclusive deals. These deals will be gonzo when the app launches. So go and check it out.
Thank you for asking. And I think it's perfectly in alignment with what you just said, waking up. So we're going to get these messages in our career where you're like, I thought this was it. I'm not happy. I'm miserable. I'm sick. This is where I was when the pandemic started. And I had a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old. And I, again, was quite honestly that high achieving woman who's got like doing it all, right? And able to prove to the world that I can do it all and doing more than it all, like running a marathon and, working. And then the kids' childcare was falling through. And here I am in Seattle as a hospice nurse practitioner, which was on most days a pretty chill job. But once the pandemic hit in that area in King County is where it began, suddenly nursing homes became one of the scariest places on earth. Remember, we didn't know anything. And that's where the hotbed of COVID was. And so my anxiety went up. And I didn't know I was already burning out, right? You don't know. You're in it. You're on the wheel. And the pain, right, irritability, the dreading going to work, I hate the system. It's not in alignment. But much like most of us, that human condition of, well, there's nothing better out there. I'm afraid to take a leap. I will fail. How will I pay the bills? I mean, we lived in Seattle. I made more than my husband. We aren't wealthy. Like, we didn't have like a little goose egg. Okay. So it wasn't like I could just quit and like la-ti-da. So basically, the universe, God gave me this gift of severe pain. And overnight, I just, after running like an 8-mile race, I couldn't walk. There was no injury. My hips gave out. I was laying flat. And this was right before the pandemic. And I'm trying to get answers because that's what we do. Imaging, medical. Couldn't have been me. It couldn't be me. It can be emotional. And really, they can't find anything. And I'm on and off work. Then the pandemic hits. And so I'm in severe pain going to work. And you know, when they had the lights out orders, like stay at home, everybody. Yes. Okay. So I had been starting to use my holistic tools, was like working with my pain and healing enough to where my family could take a really, really awesome ski trip to the mountains. And we brought a nanny, and, you know, it was like a dream trip. And I got this call that you never want to get. And it was my OBGYN who, you know, I'd gone to all these doctors to try to figure out what was wrong. And she said, I need you to sit down. Do you have a minute? And I just got quiet. And, you know, she said, we found a grapefruit sized solid mass in your ovary. And I'd had never had anything like this. And she said, luckily, you know, you're not crazy. We now figured out why you're having hip and back pain. So there was a bit of relief. But then as a hospice nurse practitioner.
Yeah, but without the side of the fact that she said a grapefruit size, like grapefruit.
Right. And as a hospice nurse practitioner, I knew one of the like quickest, deadliest silent killers that women don't get diagnosed until it's too late is ovarian cancer. So instantly there was this, like, imagine a tightrope, and on one side is fight or flight. I'm dying. This is terrible. And on the other side of the tightrope is like, you know, interesting. I wonder what that is, but we're on the way to the mountain. I'm going to go do what I love most. Right. So in that moment, I'd always walked on the right side of the tightrope. No one could see my hands, but the fight or flight, I'm the victim. Oh my God, turn the car around. We got to go to the office. And I just had this like inner knowing. I listened to my whisper, and it was like, what do you need right now? And the whisper was, go on this trip to the mountain. This is like your favorite place on earth with your favorite people. You're not dying. Like, and it was this beautiful moment of like, whoa, I can choose how to feel, how to think in a really hard time. And I can spiral, or I can just like be present, you know? And so the unfolded, Abby, for 3 months of waiting for answers. And of course, I'm human. I went into the like, it's metastasizing and I'm dying, to every day. One ritual that I believe honestly transformed my whole life was sitting on a mat every day at noon while my husband watched the kids. And I asked myself what I needed. Not, I need to go build a 6-pack. I need to go do yoga. Some days it was crying. Some days it was envisioning the mass dissolving. Some days it was reaching out to my community and saying, could you see me surfing, snowboarding again? And seeing my cells turning healthy. Some days it was doing self-compassion. So much emotion that we hold in, and honoring, accepting all of me. And long story short, in that 3 months while waiting for answers and in the pandemic, when they finally got me on for surgery, we found out, okay, it wasn't ovarian cancer, but they still didn't know what kind of cancer it could be or what it was. And they went in for surgery, and there was nothing there. Like, this grapefruit mass had just disappeared, like not even a print of it, not even, you know.
Insane.
And in medical, they were like, jaws dropped. Western medicine doctor got 5 sets of eyes in the OR, came out. I'm like, did you take out my ovary? She's like, no, there was nothing there. And so I just, boom, I just knew. I was like, oh my God, it all made sense. My mind and body had been making me sick with stress and burnout. And I knew my mind and body was able to heal me in the same way. And overnight, practically, my husband and I created our new life vision, talking, thinking, what do we want? And I said, I'm quitting my job. I'm going to help other women, empower them with tools for healing. I don't know what I'm called. I don't know anything about business. And he almost had a heart attack. He's like, wait, what? We can't afford that. And we talked about living a life by the beach, you know, because you get that wake up, like life is short and miserable. We were scratching by with barely making our bills, working 50-hour weeks, never seeing our kids. We're like, this is worth it. So we moved across the country 1 year later after we wrote out our vision. We live in a surf town, lower cost of living, where one of us can work full time. I can grow my business part time, and it has never been better. And I'm healthy as a horse. That's the journey.
It's incredible. The thing that makes me so like, one, I just love this story because it totally takes me back to this one movie with Queen Latifah, The Last Holiday. Have you ever seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, she goes and she like hits her head, and like she hits her head. So they do a scan, and then the scan machine was broken. So it showed a huge like lesions all over her brain. And so she thinks she's dying. So she empties her entire savings account and goes on like the trip of a lifetime, and then later finds out that she's fine, and like, oh, she gets to live. But it was so like, at least it was one of those things where it was that profound moment where she just went and she did what she wanted to do, and she did what she needed to do for herself, instead of focusing on all of the hogwash. Because you go through this huge transformation, but at the same time it's like you have to be present with the struggle. You can't just dismiss it. You have to be in it.
Right. Thank you for saying that, because I had kind of the thing I teach my clients is surrender, and people are like, what do you mean? And it's like, well, be with the hard emotions, be with the reality. The reality was I wasn't well, and allow all of that to move through you. But then also the second piece, be present. Like, because when you're present and you're not in fear of past or future, there's nothing but joy. If I just looked around any moment, even in severe pain, some days I was 9 out of 10 pain. It's like, my kids are beautiful. They're laughing. We have shelter. We have food. Like, what else do I want? And I can find joy in this moment, or I can choose to spiral and go, oh my God, what if I die? What if, right? So it's that dance between fear and love.
And panic. Like fear and panic, and like, and even just enjoyment, right? So it's like, a lot of people, they get so swept up into the emotion of fear or emotion of pain. Like the fear ends up being that they don't have the control. So then they don't have the control. So then they spiral out, and then they get panicked or freak out and have anxiety attacks or get angry, or they have all these different emotional responses. But when it comes down to it, it's like, how do you heal when you're in the midst of that panic? Well, one, it's about, not being completely consumed. It's about leaning into the feels of that panic, and then actually really navigating on where is that panic and fear coming from? What are the things that you can't control? Because control is an illusion. I mean, everybody sits there and thinks, oh, but if I could just do this. And the fact is that no, we don't have the control. We have to be able to surrender and realize that some things are outside of ourselves, but it's about how we choose to be present in the moment that makes the most impact, not just on our own mental sanity, but also when it comes to our health and our self-care.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that was the beauty of the lesson was, and even as someone who struggled with anxiety and depression, I always thought that made me less than. And in that wake up call, it was like, I can accept the truth. I have anxiety and depression. They're actually not going away. And it's okay. I'm still beautiful and whole, and I've learned to manage it, and I can help others manage it, right? And so there's that surrender, but then there's truth that like we are still beautiful, worthy beings. And that's the same idea as what I taught my clients with self-compassion and this practice that I used during that time to really just honor your feeling, and then say kind things to yourself. And that's probably the hardest thing for all of us, because we're looking for negativity to feed our stories, and we're really hard on ourselves. And so that was just huge for me to learn how to be kind. And, I know it sounds crazy and woo-woo, but stuff like talking to my body and being able to say, thank you, ovary, for all you've done. Not like I hate you for like growing this mass, and thank you, body, for getting me this far, right? So gratitude has so much power, and surrender, as we're both talking about. And even today, like it doesn't get any easier. I still have to surrender and still have to work through that same process with every little thing, right? Motherhood, money,
Absolutely.
clients, whatever.
Yeah, I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on the Capital Life and sharing your story, because I just, as soon as I met you, I got your energy, and just even not even knowing the depth of your story until later, I was just like, okay, my people need to know this. They need to see this amazing woman and hear what you have to say and how it's impacted. And I just really appreciate you being on the show today.
Oh, thank you for having me. And can I just share where folks can find me real quick?
Absolutely. Please do.
Yeah. So just come, you can do nurseyoursoulwithlisa.com, just as it sounds, or you can just find me on Facebook, Lisa Dunlap, and there's lots of free goodies, I'm sure, like Abby has, and content and whatnot. So thank you for
It's
having me.
amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. I really appreciate it. Guys, go check her out right now. Thanks for joining me today on the Capital Life, where we talk about all the things. Join me next Saturday as we give a little love.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us on YouTube and Facebook at Capital Health. That's Kapitol Health. Please share with your friends and family. The Capital Life is available on all podcasting platforms except Pandora. Our goal at the Capital Life is to provide a safe place to get information when it comes to your health and wellness, especially when dealing with all of life's phases. Remember to take care of yourself, because you're somebody's everything.